Do it again.
The apple.
I didn't eat the apple because we weren't going through with it. If I eat the apple every time we outtake, then I won't have an apple.
Yeah. Ready?
I might be Dan Smith, and this is News Store. Today on News Storm, we find we are too lazy to find actual news for you, so we wrote up a bunch of lists. You can blame our writer Ian for this. Now on to Film Storm, where we have our list of favorite film and TV shows. So, the writer wrote this last minute. I didn't have time to memorize my script, so I'm just gonna read everything off of it. So, here we go. Donnie Darko, Stargate Atlantis, The Godfather, The Dark Knight, Forrest Gump, Stargate the Movie, Stargate SG-1. The writer really likes Stargate, guys. Torchwood, Doctor Who, and Star Wars 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That is the easiest way to do things there. And TechStorm! Today on TechStorm we have our top 5 list of the floppiest flops in technology, in which everything that could go horribly wrong did go horribly wrong. We would like to include the Apple Newton on this list, but we decided to keep it out because we all know that that joke is old, just like their phone. First on the list is HD DVDs. No, we don't mean Blu-ray. Starting in the early 2000s, HD DVDs and Blu-ray were neck and neck. HD DVDs were owned by Panasonic, and Blu-ray was owned by Sony. Sony really only won because they convinced movie publishers to use Blu-ray instead, probably because they already had a huge studio. Next is Facebook's Poke app. No, not the poke button on Facebook. We understand your confusion. It was actually a direct competitor with Snapchat for a while. I understand your confusion! Never heard of it? Not surprising. It was started in 2012 and quietly killed in March 2014. Quietly. Windows Vista! That's right, everyone should remember Vista. Its horrid design made everyone frustrated for years until Windows 7 came out. Vista was so bad, in fact, that it was supposed to be XP's successor. It wasn't that, at all. In fact, XP reigned supreme until 2012, when Windows 7 overtook it. Healthcare.gov. For anyone who's watching outside of the United States, you probably know a little bit about Obamacare. Now, we aren't saying that the Affordable Health Care Act is horrid. We're just talking about the first few days that it was happening. The website that was supposed to give you info on what to do and how to sign up just didn't work. Like, it was so bad that it made me forget every single one of my lines. This is where we would have put the Apple Newton, but instead we were doing something else by Apple. Don't get us wrong, we love Apple products and their overpriced hardware, but... So the iPod was a huge thing when it was first released, and there were rumors that Steve Jobs was going to make a phone with an iPod in it, which means a phone with iTunes in it. And they were half right. Except it wasn't what they were expecting. What we're talking about now is the Moto Rocker. This phone was supposed to be huge! It was supposed to be the new big thing! But it was on clunky hardware, a Moto candy bar, and limited iTunes support, so it means it can only hold about 100 songs. That's right, it was an iPod with a phone. Mostly phone, that barely works. This phone was destroyed because on the very same day, the new iPod Nano came out. So, that was a really long segment, and I finished my apple. On to SciStorm! So for SciStorm, we're sticking to our theme and giving you another list. We are actually going to start with vaccines. Again, because we here at SciStorm honestly believe that this should be pushed into the public. Andrew Wakefield, the doctor who did the so-called research, claiming that there's a connection between autism and vaccines, changed the data on his research and falsified documents to prove his theory. Afterwards, he was banned from practicing medicine and labeled an elaborate fraud in 2010. Potatoes! Potatoes! Absorb Wi-Fi signals, and are used to improve Wi-Fi signals on planes. Light apparently does what it wants because the lowest clock speed of light is 38 miles per hour. Before disco fever, there was the 1518 dance fever. It was a month-long plague of inexplicable dancing in Strasbourg, in which hundreds of people danced for an entire month for absolutely no reason. Several of them danced to death. There have also been as many as 10 dancing epidemics before 1518, one of which took over many towns in modern-day Belgium. Must have been one hell of a time. Finally, for the nuttiest fact of the bunch, the longest musical performance in history is currently being played at St. Ricardi Church in Habstadt, Germany. It started September 5th, 2001, and is set to finish in 2640. The last note change was made in October 2012, and the next one isn't due until 2020. You thought operas were too long, and that's our show. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and do it anyways if you don't. Don't forget to send in fan art to one of the 4 categories, and we'll show it at the end of the next episode. And now for the question of the week. What did you guys think about this video, and what could we do to better it?